Welcome back everyone. If you are not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel on all social media. Today's case takes place in Davenport, Iowa. Davenport is known as the largest city in the Quad City metro area, where locals and visitors to the city enjoy restaurants, museums, nightlife, live music venues, historic and unique hotel properties, and a casino resort. Today, 51-year-old Henry Dinkins is on trial for first-degree murder and kidnapping of Breasia Terrell. He is facing a mandatory sentence of life without parole. On Thursday, July 9, 28-year-old Detorius and 10-year-old Breasia were planning to spend the night with Detorius's father Henry and his girlfriend Andrea. Breasia is not Henry's biological child, but he considered her as his own daughter, as she is his son's half-sister. Henry Dinkins picked them both up and brought them to his girlfriend's apartment for the night. Breasia was in a good mood and had texted her mother goodnight from Henry's phone and went to bed soon afterwards. Things unfortunately took a turn for the worst. The next morning of July 10, 2020, Breasia was nowhere to be found. She was not in bed, not in the bathroom, not in the living room, not hiding in a closet, and wasn't even found in the kitchen. She was just gone. Henry contacted Breasia's mother Aisha Langford and told her that he awoke that morning and Breasia was missing. The police were contacted by Aisha. An officer drove out to the apartment complex to take both of their statements on Breasia's disappearance.
He didn't seem very concerned. He seemed very relaxed.
That's Officer Craig Burkle's description of Henry Dinkins as he responded to a missing child report. Burkle's body camera showing he first made contact with Aisha Langford, Breasia's mother.
She was concerned her daughter was missing, and that's what she said. Shortly after that, Henry came out from inside the building.
What's up, Henry? So when was the last time you saw her?
She was in the house.
State prosecutors asking Burkle to walk them through the morning of July 10th.
I'm trying to gather details. They get into a verbal argument. They start yelling at each other.
She would have never woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and she would have never...
What you mean, 8 o'clock in the morning?
I'm just saying.
That ain't what I said. I never said.
I know you
Guys,
didn't say that.
this isn't the time to fight.
Exactly, I don't give a... You lost her, though.
How did I lose?
Because you was watching her, Henry, what the...
Breasia's mom walks away with DL, Breasia's little brother.
He gave me his name. He gave me his date of birth.
But that appears to be the only information Dinkins willingly hands over.
Henry, you don't know where your daughter is, you don't know your address, and you don't know your phone number.
No, for real.
Burkle then asked to search the apartment, which belonged to Dinkins' girlfriend, Andrea Culberson. Dinkins eventually agrees, following Officer Burkle to the apartment, where a frazzled Culberson opens the door.
I go, would you mind if I come in and take another look?
What's your date of birth, Andrea?
She looked at me, and then she pointed at Henry, and she's like, did he say that's okay?
Listen, I go on all sorts of places. I don't care how big.
Is he aware of this?
What's that?
Is he aware of this?
Yeah.
Officer Burkle searches through the apartment with no luck.
I come outside, and I'm like, where's Henry at?
Dinkins suddenly missing, leaving all 6 of Officer Burkle's calls unanswered. After an hour, Officer Burkle texts Dinkins, asking for his whereabouts.
Never returned my text. He called me at 12:04, and when he called me, he told me that he's walking into the police department.
No one knew where Breasia could have gone and if she was out there alone. As you can see in the video, Aisha was upset with Henry, and rightfully so. It also seems odd that Henry doesn't quite seem to know any details, or did he? The community came together to help look for Breasia. The search lasted for several months. So what happened that night when the 2 children were brought to Henry's home? Henry's girlfriend Andrea Culberson told police that Breasia and her brother were both sleeping in the bedroom of the 1-bedroom apartment while the 2 adults slept in the living room. Here's some of the information that has been released. Around 2 a.m. camera footage captured a dark sedan that was identified as being owned by Henry in the lot where his motorhome is parked. Andrea recalled waking up around 3 a.m. and noticed Breasia and Henry were both missing. She attempted to call his cell phone, but noticed that he had left his phone inside of the apartment. Andrea also stated that Henry returned to the apartment after 3 a.m. and retrieved an unknown item from the bedroom closet and left. Upon looking out of the window, she saw Breasia standing nearby Henry's vehicle, but didn't understand what was going on and why they were both outside so early in the morning. Henry was seen on camera making a stop at a quick shop gas station after 3:30 a.m. to pick up gas, 2 packs of cigarettes, and a lighter that he paid for with cash. Henry returned to the apartment again after 5 a.m. to pick up his son. He also made a stop at Walmart around 7 a.m. and purchased 2 81-ounce bottles of Clorox bleach and placed them inside the trunk of his vehicle. Around 8:40 he met Breasia's mother at a McDonald's and her son got into her vehicle and they both left. Henry was seen on video walking into the police station around noon. On July 14, 2020, law enforcement named Henry as a person of interest in Breasia's disappearance. At that time he was already in jail for failure to register as a sex offender. Breasia's body was sadly found in a pond by some fishermen on March 22, 2021. Breasia had been shot and dumped in a pond in a rural area outside of Davenport. On June 16, 2021, Henry pled not guilty to the charges of first-degree murder and kidnapping. Henry's criminal history dates all the way back to 1990. He is a career felon with a very tainted past that includes pleading guilty in August 1990 to third-degree sexual abuse in connection with the sexual abuse of a 5-year-old girl when he was 17. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Henry was let out on parole March 2020, just 4 months prior to kidnapping and murdering Breasia. During that same time he was also awaiting trial on felony charges in Bureau County, Illinois for the possession of methamphetamine and amphetamine with the intent to deliver. With so many red flags, why was he even allowed out of jail? He should have never been allowed to be out in society amongst the general public. This is truly sad. So many people failed Breasia, including her own mother, as she had to have known his history. Andrea, as she was dating him and had to have known his history. How can anyone in their right mind associate with, let alone allow their children around such an evil, vile, and vicious person? He is a known sex offender and was just serving time in prison for a sex crime against a young child? Breasia's mother met Henry right before he went to prison. She allegedly knew about his charges, and described him as being weird. Knowing what she knew about Henry, she should have never allowed her children to be in the care of this criminal from day one. Maybe she felt comfort in knowing that both of her children would be together and could look out for one another. Parents really need to be more aware of who is around their children at all times. Protect your children and look out for their best interest. This man is a monster. He preyed on a beautiful, young, and innocent child. Henry showed no mercy on Breasia. He savagely ended her life. He deserves the same. Breasia did not deserve this. I really hope the judge never allows him to see the light of day again. My heart goes out to Breasia's mother, her brother and their entire family. May you all receive justice.